What I'm saying to you is, it would be nice to have some help in the household. And if you find that person who can at least help you to relieve you, what it is beneficial for both parties involved. If both people are contributing to the bills and both people are working all day long, it would be nice to have assistance around the household. And they're not talking about like a 2-minute job, like taking the trash out, or a 1 week mowing the yard. We're talking about real, true help. I would hope that you come home to your wife and assist her in the duties if
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, Shan. I mean, I can't argue that at all. That should be the bare minimum. I definitely would say that. I would also say though, again, both men and women, they both play their part in where they're supposed or expected to uphold a standard in the household where certain things should be expected of them to carry out just by default. One of my biggest issues that I would say with most women nowadays openly saying that they're not a fan of cooking or they don't want to cook or whatever the case may be. I think that takes away from the family values that we have traditionally, because back in the day we would go to Big Mama's house where Big Mama would cook. You know what I'm saying? Grandma would cook, uh papa, grandpa, he'll do whatever on the grill, whatever the case may be, or maybe he just in the garage just chilling, relaxing, whatever. But the fact that we don't see that often anymore, where women are actually going going out of the way, I would say, to learn how to cook, to continue this family tradition that we our generation grew up in, you know what I'm saying, for this younger generation to not even be aware of. That's that's the detrimental part. That's the
But
No,
Viz,
dangerous.
and I
but
and I,
Viz,
I and I get that. I'm just telling you from what's going on now, what people are doing. Everybody's out for self, right? You know, if
Which
you if
is
you live alone, you should be cooking. You know, you got to eat. So every cooking is a basic skill for men and women. If you are single at some point, you should be cooking for yourself. You should be cleaning up after yourself. These are not. This is not a man's role or a
this
female's
basic,
role.
yeah,
It's a
this basic
human.
role.
This
I
is a
agree with
human
you, sir.
survival role.
No,
So
no,
what?
that's true.
So what I am saying to you is, when you are single or you are dating, these are all great. When kids are involved, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, right? Especially when you have young kids involved. And then it's as active as young kids are. Just help her out a little bit. That's all I'm saying. It won't hurt to help your wife.
Shan,
It shouldn't be.
Shan, I don't necessarily disagree with you. That is fine that he helps out, and that's fine that he shows up in a particular type of way, and that is fine that that person wants to show up in that capacity, right? Everybody needs to have some sort of life skills. But what I tend to kind of hear a lot, right, is women say, I don't know how to cook. I dated a woman who was in her early 30s at the time, single, no children, never married, has a little business, whatever, whatever, does fine, good looking woman, put together, whatever. She's like, I don't like to cook. I don't know how to cook. You know what I'm saying? My mama never taught me, blah, 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 blah. But your mama never taught you how to suck D, but somehow you figured it out.
Well, so let me just tell
So,
you how this
so,
works.
let me understand this.
So I get what
Is,
you're saying,
is sucking
but
D a life skill? Is sucking
it,
D a life skill?
it's
Is
listen.
sucking D a life skill? It's
No.
not. So learning how to cook and understanding how to cook and nutrition, etc., is more valuable as a life skill set than it is the other part. And even though your mama might have failed you and didn't teach you that, why is it that you're good at and know how to do one over the other? That is the cultural mindset that we have today. We have to be very honest. I know I went there and I dropped the bomb, and I don't want to do that, but it's very, very true, and I hear that a lot.
Right. So what is happening? So what is happening is women are getting the wrong idea of what it is to keep a man. Right. Somewhere along the line, they felt like pleasing him in that manner is what keeps him. Right. And what they don't understand is that's not true because we did see Big Mama cooking, but Big Mama also lost her man. He wasn't there. Right. She cooked every day.
Come
She
on,
cooked for all of us. She kept food on the
come on,
table. She kept a
come
clean
on.
house, and Daddy was not there. Okay,
Big, big, big,
so
big
but
Mama was married
so
for 50, 60
and
years. Come on
we
now.
refuse to ask Big Mama what the bedroom was looking like. We're just gonna assume that that gown probably did it, you know. But what I'm saying to you is,
Uh,
check this out. It's unfortunate because I agree with you, Louise. This has really gotten out of hand. This whole over sexualizing stuff is really gotten out of hand. And I do think that women, even not even just for a man, just for basic skills, you need to know how to cook. You need to know how to clean your house, right? You don't want to come home to a nasty house, right? But I also know as a parent that raising kids the right way is not an easy task. It's very overwhelming. Have you ever met a chick who didn't have a kid and how crazy, like beautiful her house was, and all of a sudden kids? You walk my girlfriend now. This is a real story. You walk in her house, you like, oh, what happened here? This is not like you. Them kids, child, them
Man,
kids.
let me tell you, my mom, I'm the oldest of three. It goes me, my brother, then my sister. My house where I live, my mom, that house never looked a mess. My mom's house never looked a mess. Every Saturday, that house was reset
I
and it looked
agree.
like it looked like the Ritz Carlton
Let
every
me ask you a
week.
question.
You know what I'm saying? So,
So, Louise, so we say women back in the day, we always talk about our grandparents, right? And grandma cooked a lot, didn't she? Grandma kept a clean house,
yeah.
but did grandma keep a man?
Well, you know, my my grandfather passed away at 56, and my grandmother was with him, through that entire time. They had 12, what is it? I think 13 kids, 13, 14 kids, something like that. And my grandmother on my father's side had 9, and their relationship dissolved somewhere in between. But again, it's one of those things that it's people kind of get to a certain point where family's still important, but they understand that the hardships of getting along and doing the things that are necessary in order to establish a good relationship with the children, bring up a certain type of household, and etc. That's very important as well. So I think that today we tend to. I feel that people who are of an older generation should be a
Mm-hmm.
greater microphone to speak to people of
Sure.
today rather than younger people in their 20s and 30s, whatever, right? Regardless if they're married or not, because those people have been through they've seen more wars, they've seen more economic up and downs, they've seen, different trends in economics and, social normalities, right? These people have really seen life on a completely perspective, and they're a full library. And a lot of people don't tend to kind of gravitate towards them or ask them questions because in our society we tend to kind of value youth over knowledge and wisdom, right?
Well,
And
Louise,
that's
it sounds like you come from a pretty solid, as I do too, come from a pretty solid background. But I've even seen on YouTube where older people are telling women not to get married. Like they like that, like it's almost like it's their worst mistake ever. I've seen the reels, of older people saying if I could change it all, I would have not done this. So it's just all back. Like, in all honesty, it's just all backwards. And me telling you that, I think a woman who is in love with a man is gonna cook for a man. I do. But what I'm saying is, I do believe it's almost like this. If somebody asked you if you had a choice to work or not work, most people gonna say, "Shit, if I win the lottery, I ain't working." You feel me? It's the same
yeah,
concept. Everybody,
yeah.
nobody. wants to work. Men or women
Yeah.
alike, if they don't have to. So
Well,
yes, I get what you're saying. We should bring back the old school way of doing things as far as cooking and cleaning. Let's be very real. That's not what's gonna keep a man, first and foremost. And second, just help her out. Just, humans are humans. And if you see that she is exhausted,